Hey, everybody, welcome back to Ask an Action Coach. So if you watched last week, we talked a little bit about perturbation, or that moment where the going gets rough and you either have to walk through it or you quit. And we wanted to talk a little bit more about what happens when you don't keep going and get through perturbation. All right, Jackie, you're up.
All right, so let's talk a little. I'm going to share a graphic with you here, and this is what we call the performance curve. And the performance curve, if you notice here, we start here and we're all excited about the new thing we're going to try, or the whatever we're going to do, or we're going to work on our plan. For example, we get all excited, we build the foundation, and we get to here and we have the sort of the foundation built, and we're kind of on an upward trajectory, and then we hit the brakes. And then what happens if we hit the brakes here is when first of all, we're building momentum as we go along the curve here, but the momentum stops here, and then we end up either at or below where we started. So that's number one. So that's the first level. If we make it past the foundation piece, then when things start to accelerate, and you're starting to see that hockey stick start, all of a sudden in here, we decide we're going to coast, right? We're going to coast, and we stop. And then we all of a sudden get back below where we were starting at the foundation. And then the third level is where we're here and we're starting to accelerate that hockey stick and really work on the word behind here is multiplication, and really work on the things that are starting to chug along, and all the work that you've put in, all of a sudden we're going on all cylinders and accelerate, and we're doing all of those things. All of a sudden this happens and you get to here and you stop the acceleration or the momentum. And then all of a sudden we slide back down again. So when perturbation hits, let's say fear hits us here, and or it gets to be hard and we stop, or it gets to be hard here and we stop, when we decide to start again, we need to create all of that momentum back again. So part of walking through perturbation is to walk through and keep going so that you can keep accelerating, and you use that momentum. Because what happens is the further you go, the more likely and the easier it becomes, because you've got all that momentum.
It reminds me of the phrase, trust the process.
Yes. And in coaching, I see that a ton, where people are like, we're going pretty good, and they decide, okay, we're going to stop. And then when I see them a couple months later, they've lost all of that momentum because they didn't have the accountability piece they needed, for example. Or they get to the point where they're starting up that curve, and all of a sudden they decide things are happening too fast. I'm going to stop. And then all of a sudden they lose all of that momentum and they have to start over again. So the lesson here is that momentum will propel you forward, and it takes a lot more effort to get the momentum going.
When you're coaching someone and working with a business owner, do you see the things that they don't see when it comes to like their momentum and where they are on that curve, do you think?
Absolutely. And and part of our coaching is all about helping them walk past that perturbation, walk past that fear.
Sure.
and to focus on the few things they need to do to get past it, instead of all of a sudden I've got 400 things to do and I don't know what to do, and now I'm overwhelmed. And right. So part of working with the coach is we're going to pick one or two things to do, keep you focused, and then have that momentum continue.
Love it. Love it.
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I really like the visual. Sometimes we need to use more of those, I think, on Ask an Action Coach, because people out there really like to learn visually. And sometimes we're just sitting here talking heads on the screen. So I really appreciate you sharing that with me. I learned a few things too about my own momentum and multiplication, when it comes to, do more of what's working. So I like that a lot. Awesome. Thank you so much. If you're out there and you want to learn more about your own learning curve or your own momentum, go ahead and book a call with Jackie. She'd be happy to talk to you about where you're at right now. So thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
See you. Bye.